If you do not understand how your operations works as a CEO or as a C-level leader, you are losing money. Hear me out on this. Here's the reason why. I'm going to break it all down in this video. I'm Emily, and I'm here to talk all about operations, leadership, spirituality, and anything else that wants to channel through. But today I want to talk about why operations are so important and why it is so important for you to understand your operations, how they operate on a day-to-day basis. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how big your company is, if you don't understand how your operations are ran and what's happening, you're losing money. And the reason why is you're more than likely making decisions that may not be supported by your operations. You may not have a process in place. And granted, yeah, you can create those processes, but you have to have that in the back of your mind. You also may be losing money because you don't know how efficiently that process could be running. So if you've never taken the time to look at that process from start to finish, to understand it, to comprehend it, to ask questions, ask the people like, what is working, what is not working, yeah, you're probably losing money. And I can say that in a way that, and the reason why I say that in that way is because of the fact that I have seen so many processes that just by looking at it, I can see their patterns and I can see where they're losing money. It's because of the fact that I can understand the process and the follow through with it and then ask the specific questions. I've done enough audits. I've done so many process audits and understanding, and it doesn't have to be a physical process. It can be an online process as well. But understanding how they get from A to Z and what that process is, and asking the right questions, and asking, sometimes it's as simple as asking, why are you doing that task? What is that task for? What's the value add to that task? And if that can't be answered, then you need to look at removing that out of your process. But so many times I have seen C-level executives not understand the process, make decisions based off of what they don't understand, and cause operations to tank. So yeah, your sales might be up, but your back end is losing a lot of money. And they don't understand that until they start auditing their processes. And then, they're like, well, we don't need to really audit, we're good. Okay. But then you want to complain when tariffs come in and all these extra costs come in, then you might want to start looking at your processes. So if you're a C-level executive and you're wondering, are you losing money in your process? Just ask yourself the question, do I know my processes? Do I know every single process? And if I don't know them, or I don't have the time to know them, do I have someone on my team that knows them, that can tell me, if I make this decision, what's the impact going to be? And explain it in dollars. Not impact as in, well, it's going to cause us, maybe some time delay. No, like the quantity, the dollar amount, the labor costs, the cost for the team to do it, whatever that, like, make sure you have some the quantity that you can it actually makes sense to have. It's not just like 2 or 3 hours. Okay, what does that 2 or 3 hours cost you, and how often do you have to do it? And then when you look at a whole year, what's that cost? Is it $5,000? Is it $200? Because that's a little bit different conversation. So thinking about your operations in a standpoint of, your operations have to be tight. And the reason why they need to be tight, and you need to understand that, is so then as the C-level, you can make those decisions. And you're not left hanging dry and just deciding stuff. How many times have you been in corporations and in companies where they make a decision on the front end, but the back end can't support it? And now we got to hire more people on the back end. It happens a lot in a lot of different industries. Same way in the manufacturing industry, making decisions to, now we got to add this quality check. Well, the quality engineer did not understand that now we need an extra person. They're like, oh no, somebody on the line can do it. Well, then your line time goes down, your efficiency goes down, and then you as the manager had to say, well, now my efficiency goes down. But they just want to hand it off to you. That's where you have to understand operations, and this starts at the very top, and then giving your team the tools to also understand them and look at them and question. This is one of the biggest things that I will say to develop on your team, is allow them to question the process. Why are we doing this? What is the point for this? What is the value add to the end product of this? If it is none, get rid of it. It's like running 40,000 different reports when you really don't need the 40,000 different reports. You only need 2 numbers. That's a huge inefficiency that we see a lot of times, is running all these reports for what? What's it getting you? Or doing all these extra processes. It's not getting you anything. So understanding things, asking the right questions. If you need support on this, like, go out and get an audit template. Audit your processes. You don't want to do that? Tell me, I'll come audit your processes. It's pretty easy for me because I've done it so many times. But even as small business owners, we see this a lot where they don't understand the operations, or they can't walk us through the operations. And they think they need all these things, or they need all this tech, when technically you don't. You have to understand how you get from A to Z. And if you can't understand that process, then you sit and you map it out. Or you ask your team, if you have a team, how do we get from A to Z? And if we do in between, if we do something at letter M, what's going to happen to the process? What's going to break? Then once you have all your processes down, you start documenting them. You start putting SOPs in place. This is how you protect the process. This is how you make your life easier as a C-level executive and on your team. Like on your team, it makes things so much easier. So I'm going to leave you with this. Go take one process, audit it, and see how much cost savings you can get out of it. If you don't want to do it, we guarantee that when we do a audit, we guarantee you 10% ROI of cost savings. So send us a message. We'll come in and audit your process. If you don't get 10% cost savings, you don't pay us. It's as simple as that. So let me know what questions you have on operations, efficiency, whatever it is, and I'm happy to create a video on it.